Hello, everybody. We have the OCL finals coming up in just a little bit. As we wait for both teams to get themselves prepared, I hope you guys are ready. Let's do it. Let's take a look at the teams. Proteus versus Wrecking Crew. Gonna be a hot match coming up tonight. We have our 5 maps. It is gonna be a best of 5. Map 1 is going to be on base camp. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your last chance. Grab yourself some refreshments, some snacks. Let's get into it. We'll be getting started in just a little bit. We hope you guys are as hype as we are. Whole season has led to this. This is the second annual competition. They are going to be competing for prizes to the top 3 teams coming in. So Proteus and Wrecking Crew are going to be fighting for these. Second place is going to be getting themselves a fantastic 75% off of Boat Stocks online, as well as the first place team getting a full set for the entire team of Boat Stocks. Boat VR doing a fantastic job in donating these wonderful prizes for our prize pool here this season. Going to be absolutely fantastic. Many shout outs to both those teams. That's going to be a fantastic addition to their arsenal. As we also have iStock sponsoring in, the third place team will receive an iStock to be used for that team going into it. As we get ourselves situated in the back end, we'll be right into it in just a little bit. Don't you guys go anywhere. Take this chance. Go grab yourself some refreshments. We'll be getting started in just a little. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have been around this far, you know the deal. Uplink. First players to get to the satellite dish and disable it will take 2 entire rounds worth of points on the offense. Defense only job is to kill the offense or defend the objective for the full 6-minute timer, as both teams are trickling in and getting themselves prepared for the final fight. Let's see some predictions here in the chat. Who do you think is going to win? We have Wrecking Crew versus Proteus. Wrecking Crew, heavy duty on the wild card, I would say. A lot of heavy pushes with a mixed bag of aggression and defense. Proteus, been in the game long enough. If you don't know their name, you should. They have some serious control of the fundamentals and the mechanics. They are what you would call a very practiced team of professionals. Let's see what these pros can do going into this first round. This is going to be a very risky objective to keep control of, as there are some positions on this objective that can be captured from within heavy amounts of cover. And we will see just how those teams work around it, gaining control of the main section. Once again, thanks to iStock and Boat VR for supplying our prize pool for this season. Both these teams are going to be duking out to try and get their share of the riches. Let's head on into the map and take a look around, shall we? All right, so first thing you'll notice about this objective is keeping control of it is going to be high risk. There is a great deal of cover in the area. You'll notice that there are a lot of what you would call dead zones, areas that wouldn't potentially be safe pushes without some form of assistance in the form of cover fire or utility. Namely, you've got this large dead zone here. This is a large and very dangerous push. Trying to get across here to get to uplink is going to be extremely difficult. So utility is going to be a must. You cannot cross these lines unless they are effectively crossed out via smoke or cover fire. However, After making it past that point, you do put yourself in a situation where you can make it to a safe capture of objectives. So controlling these lines is going to be the catch-all be-all for this uplink. You'll notice this uplink having several zones. We get a aerial view. We'll take a look at this. Keep an eye out for what's called the finish line. So once a player makes it past this point or this point, that is your finish line. That is the point at which they have sent the objective and you have already lost the round. At this level, making it past those lines is a death sentence for the defenders. So defenders will have to shut down both those lines in order to have an opportunity to prevent losing this objective and losing 2 entire rounds. The first team on defense will be Proteus. Wrecking Crew having the advantage of pushing onto a very capable uplink first, potentially getting a lot of momentum. Bear in mind, folks, capturing the objective does get you 2 entire points. Now, for defense, they're going to have to be watching their lines. So these main lines that they're going to have to watch are the sight lines on the cross and the main sight line of the Death Valley here and the back section. This is going to have a lot of coverage where you see a lot of very low positions that are easily defended with lots of cover to try and trip up the offense. These positions are going to provide points of interest for the offense to need to clear in order to get through here. Controlling these sections is going to be pivotal to ensure you cannot get crossed into the back line and potentially have someone reach this finish line. On the offhand, this is a very difficult area to control the sight line of, so having players on the push-up to watch back in on this sight line is going to be important, as we see Proteus and Wrecking Crew are going to have to take control of this uplink in a very commanding fashion. Otherwise, they risk losing it all and then some. So we'll see. I'm expecting this first round to be extremely hot. Let's take a look back at the uplink. As we get ready for round 1, here we go. Round 1 of the finals, OCL. As we have Proteus versus Wrecking Crew getting themselves situated. My apologies. Wrecking Crew is going to get the initial push from the southwest. How many are going to make this rotation? We've got 2 in the form of Acer and Voids. Here comes the heavy push out. Rival, P, Select Pie. On the far side, early shots coming out. Flash goes out towards Stuff. Select Pie is going to make it at the center. Shots coming out. Heavy gunfire on the far side as Draven pushes through into Peas. Draven in the center between Peas and Rival. Peas holding the angle, waiting right around the corner. Shots coming out on the far side. There goes Peas. He's going to take down Rival. That's going to be the refrag from Reaper. Rival round the corner on Reaper. Here's the audio. Gunfire on the far side. Voids and Acer contesting on Ghost. Reaper's going to get the nade out. Push out Flash. Second nade. Reaper 3 utility on him off of his teammate. Stuff is going to take down the Select Pie. But not before Ghost taking down Acer and Reaper getting 2 exposed. That's the refrag coming out from Stuff onto Rival. Flashes on the far side. Ghost last up. Stuff is going to clean him up, and that's going to be the round. Wrecking Crew takes down all 5. Proteus goes down on the defense. Proteus has now officially lost their ability to trade rounds back and forth on defense. Wrecking Crew is now in the advantage state. Will Proteus be able to recover this lost momentum? As we get ready for the next round, unbelievable stuff. Heavy amounts of trading back and forth on this lane 1. As we see that east side, lane 4. As we see that east side, heavy amounts of trades back and forth. Not effective enough in covering the angles on those little sections. However, Wrecking Crew doing a great job on that center line push from Stuff. Taking out that center push was massive. Voids, I believe that was. As we see on the far side, on the west, there was a heavy opposition in the form of Ghost. Ghost being able to shut down one, however, eventually losing out to having a player just win the engagement on the east side. Essentially, this came down to who can get the most refrags, pick off the players. Will we see that again going into the next round? We're about to find out. Here we go. Wrecking Crew on defense. Let's take a look at Proteus. Proteus on the push. He is going to be going up to the tallest section to see if he can get that early pick. Let's see how that works out for him. Early smokes into the line. Let's take a look. Peas. Draven is going to take down Select Pie. Holding a very thin line. Shots coming out. Draven in position. Stuv in position. Callouts coming out back and forth. Voids does not push out nearly as far as Proteus does. Ghost is going to take down Reaper. That is going to be a pick for Proteus. 4 versus 4. Draven in position to get another pick. He still hasn't gotten a pick on that backside. Ghost about to approach Stuv's line. As here comes the line. Push out comes out. Will Stuv retain the patience necessary to take down Ghost, or will he look away at the worst time? As we hear audio coming from behind. Ghost gonna take down Acer with a beautiful grenade. Voids repositioning to try and take down east side, as they have in fact given up on the west side push. However, Ultimate Rival could catch Voids here. Voids actually is going to do the opposite. That's the shot from Voids onto Ultimate Rival, going down. Proteus down to 3 players. Wrecking Crew 3.5. Take a look back at Draven's line. He's is now rotated away from that top section. Draven rotating away. He's going to watch that far side. Trust that he has enough teammates to watch the center. Good reposition coming out from Draven. Ghost is on the push-up. Stuv should be catching that line. Shots come out. There's the util. Miggy's going to take down Draven. The nade goes just a bit too far. Nearly gets the refrag for himself. Miggy's going to get that pick. Wrecking Crew down to 1. Stuv finally getting Ghost in the center. Is Stuv going to be able to stop Miggy on this far side push? He's now cornered on both sides. Peas taking the low and slow route up that west side. Stuv is the last man up, and he's controlling the center line as opposed to the finish line, meaning if either Miggy or Peas manages to slip past, that could be 2 rounds. Stuv isn't, looks like Stuv isn't going to take that risk. He's going to rotate out, get exposed, and get picked off. That is going to give the round to Proteus, and there goes the momentum shift. Proteus is going to take the momentum back. Very nicely done. As Proteus taking the momentum back is going to be pivotal here. We go into the next objective. Absolutely wonderful. Once again, another objective with a hidden cap position in the form of inside the blue crates. This is another high-risk objective with this much cover right next to the objective. We'll see how these teams play it out, how they get their value out. As we get ready for the next round, Wrecking Crew needs to get their momentum back. Got a beautiful paradigm shift at the start, losing it to Proteus now. I'm curious to see what their tent looks like, how they're doing, and how they're feeling. This whole season is built up to this, ladies and gentlemen. Proteus in a strong position now. They have the momentum. They are on the upswing, meaning they do have currently, I'd expect, the positive mentality shift going on right now. This mental going into round 3 is going to be huge. as we get ready for the next round. Wrecking Crew, Proteus. Here we go. Proteus on defense. Let's see how they play it. Wrecking Crew on that far side. Let's get an idea. Positioning is going to be everything P's. Going back up to that top section. As we see the heavy push out. Draven, the only one is going to be pushing sideways here. Peas is going to hold that line. See how he works with it. Draven's going to be on that push. Stuff into the center. Rival on that far side. Here comes Reaper and Voids coming up the west. Let's see how they play this out. Void smoking out the cross to Stairwell. If there is a player up there, they'd have lost their positioning and have to reposition slightly. Acer watching. Shots come out from Reaper into Select Pie. Select Pie counter flash. Reaper is going to take the M203 down Select Pie. Select Pie still able to give communication. That is going to be comms coming out from Select Pie. Reaper in position to push up. Ghost around the corner. Voids and Acer. We still have Draven on that far side. Going to be contesting Peas. If Stuv can take down Peas before Draven makes a push, that's going to be huge. Ghost hears him. That's going to be the audio. Here comes Voids around the corner into Stuv. Ghost beautifully cooked grenades. Going to knock down Stuv. Stuv can give callouts. Voids around the corner. He's in an open position, however. Ghost does not have to commit to anything right now. Miggy on the far side. Voids has made it in. P's gonna take down Draven. There's that pick we've been talking about. That is what we wanted to see. P's all the way up here. Gets his pick. Gonna give callouts and try and confirm. Beautiful. That is a confirmed kill. Voids right around the corner on Ultimate Rival. C4 comes off from Ultimate Rival on Vibes. Does not connect. Select Pie is up now. Back on this backside. No. Simply showing it on the map. That's a confirm as shots come out from Ghost. Gonna take down Reaper. No refrag comes out from Acer. Void stuck. Flash comes out from Ghost. Might have caught Voids there. Peas on that backside now. No longer watching that far side. Stuv is down on the top. Acer is gonna take down Peas with a beautiful... I believe that was a grenade into shots. Voids and Ghost back to back. Ghost is gonna take that kill. Ghost has shut down a huge portion of Wrecking Crew. Acer last up. In a 1.5v2 as Mickey's going to shut down Acer. Ghost too big a thorn in the side as Proteus is going to take their defensive round. That is the first Volk win of the round. Well done, Proteus. Absolutely beautiful. These professionals are showing why they are here. We see refrags on refrags. Beautiful bunker positions. We take a look in there. Let's take a look at the positioning of Ghost. Getting that center control. Here's something to note of that gameplay. Note that Ghost making a decision instead of going ahead and simply playing here and hoping to swing around and catch picks. Instead opting to just relax, chill out, wait in the corner, and wait until players fall into his trap. Wait until somebody rotates out from underneath here. Wait until a player makes themselves known up top. And wait until a player overcommits and gets really far behind so that they are committed to their position and Ghost can then punish them with these beautiful safe sight lines. Having control but not overextending on any of them, meaning at no point were they at risk from getting picked off from any other position besides themselves. That right there is masterful gameplay. Trusting your teammates to have your back and just being a thorn in the side, forcing players to slow down, burning as much time as possible, and getting those value picks. Very nicely done. Definitely MVP of the round. As we see Proteus on the push, let's take a look at Wrecking Crew on this defense. Void, Stuv, Reaper going up the west side. Acer on the right side. Early line coming out. Stuv on the heavy push. Heavy gunfire back and forth. Void's gonna take down Peas. Beautiful grenade. That is gonna be the res, but now they are damaged. Acer on the push-up. Into Ghost line. That's the trade. Ghost goes down. Call out. Void's on Miggy. Reaper holding the line on his back. Peas is going to take down Draven and Acer. Peas, high value push, taking out 2 of Wrecking Crew. Proteus, 3 versus 3. Beautiful grenade. Does not land on any players, but it lands true. When I say cook your grenades, that is what I'm talking about. That grenade should go off within a half a second of landing on the ground. Beautifully done. Peas holding that back line. Select Pie on the center. Ultimate Rival's going to be committing and pushing into Voids and Stuv. However, Reaper is the last one of Wrecking Crew on uplink. This could force a crash position as Voids is going to take down Ultimate. That's only the knock. Can't seem to confirm. Take a look over there. Voids gonna rotate away onto a new angle, and I am gonna end up inside of somewhere that seems impossible. Let's head back out of here. As we see the heavy push-outs from all players, we're gonna take a look at this cross from Select Pie. Never mind, Voids is gonna take him. That's the finish. Ultimate's still down. Call-outs coming out from Ultimate. Stuv gonna get that finish. Peas now knows. Rotates on the cross. Beautiful information coming out. Stuv knowing that he cannot make a commit to that push on the flank. Peas is the last up, however. Peas all up to him. He is pretty close to uplink. Reaper gonna have that line. That's the shot. Peas gonna take him. He's going to the finish line. Shots come out from Stuv. Voids does have the upper line. That's gonna be Peas. No, Peas does not go down. Flash comes out from Stuv. Stuv now flashed. Blind firing. Peas tries to slip past him blind. I respect the play. I respect the play. 2 versus 2. Wrecking Crew takes their defensive round. I love that last minute push from Peas. Knowing that there was one player way off link, flashing the last player on link and hoping to swing past him. It looks like, based on the movement, Peas might have gotten blinded by one of those flashes and just decided to commit to try and get to link. Nearly getting away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling kid across the map there. As you see Voids on the cross, managing to shut down the last player. Very, very nice pushes overall from Proteus and Wrecking Crew, shutting down an entire side of the map. Unfortunately, that side of the map did not include Peas. Peas making that final cross, almost getting within spitting distance of the uplink. Showing just how important it is to stay vigilant and shut your line down. It only takes one Marsoc to cost you 2 entire rounds. You have to be very careful, especially at this level. At this level, every player is capable of inputting that randomized code in seconds. As we see the push out, some last minute decision making coming out, discussing how they're going to be controlling the sight lines of this objective. As we see the push from Wrecking Crew is about to come in 4 seconds. 3, 2, here we go. Ultimate gonna have that early line. Here we go. Voids holding. Ultimate's gonna chill at the bottom of stairwell. Content. Draven on the push-up with Reaper on his 6. You see another line. That is a dual team coming up on the behind link through Snake. Ultimate and Ghost, you're going to have to shut that down. Not sure how. Do they have a C4 in the area? Does not appear so. Raven and Reaper coming in. Acer going to go down to Peas. Peas taking down Stuv as well. Let's take a look over there. Peas in a beautiful position right now as shots get fired on the cross. We're going to be going back and forth here. Voids and Ghost are going to trade on center. Acer, the last push. Draven commits to the swing up into the rails. Rivals actually at the bottom. Gonna catch him completely by surprise. These are two very dangerous crosses, but once you've made them, you're on uplink. This is dangerously close to the finish line, Reaper is. Reaper is no slouch when it comes to capping. This rival is going to hold this bottom line. It's going to catch Reaper off guard. And it doesn't matter because all the shots are going to get caught by the terrain. Reaper on the push. Peas and Select Pie crashing right now. Reaper holding. Util smokes his line. Peas has to cover. M203 from Reaper does not connect on Peas. Peas just barely missing. Reaper owing that pole a debt of solitude. As the pole is going to save him, he's going to rotate off and leave that pressure on Select Pie and Peas to watch their flank as he's going to go and commit entirely to a new push. I absolutely love this. This is going to take Acer back into the game, put Wrecking Crew in a 2 versus 2 situation. This right here is a top tier reposition. That's going to put them in a whole new light. Now Reaper, is he going to make the decision to rotate back around? Crossing around that back side. Yeah, they're going to full reposition now. Select Pie and Peas are on high alert. Unbelievable. Reaper is going to come back to Snake now. Select Pie and Peas are ready though. They are on crash positions watching that final cross now. Without more utility, I'm not sure if this push is possible. However, with enough smokes, anything is possible. Peas and Select. Holding the line. Reaper is about to push in any second now. Acer on that back line. I'm not sure why he's lagging so far behind. Here comes Acer now to support his teammate as Reaper on the push. Reaper gets a grenade off into the open. It does not catch Select Pie. A little farther than it would have. Beautiful smoke, however. Flash comes out from Reaper. Does not catch Peas. However, he's in position. 1-1000. 2-1000. He's sending code. Select Pie commits. Peas coming around the backside. Reaper. The stress of the finals. Reaper just taking too long to send that code. Gonna cost Wrecking Crew that round. What a heartbreaker, folks. But at the same time, we get more gameplay. Unbelievable. When there's a lot on the line, you can't help it. The stress makes everything harder. Tying your shoe is easy. Tying your shoe 300 feet in the air, not so much. For those of you watching at home, the uplink, the objective, that satellite dish you are looking at, that is definitely, it's a doozy. At the beginning of every single round, the code that you have to input onto it is randomized. And you do have to input that code in your tablet correctly in order to send the uplink. It is a 7-digit randomized code. And when you've had 5 minutes of high intensity, getting shot at, shooting at people, making decisions, making calls, making plays, and then you have to remember that 7-digit code, it can be an absolute nightmare.
Good try, good try. It's not. God damn it. What is Reaper, you did better than I did. I would have got there and then fucking pressed I would have code multiple times.
As we get ready, here we go. Early lines coming out from Wrecking Crew. Peas taking shots. Dove taking a bullet in the process on the push-up. Peas makes it into Snakes. Dove in position on Select Pie. Select Pie gonna go down to Voids. Voids committing into the Snake. Peas is gonna get the trade-off. There we go, that's the pick. As Ultimate Rival is actually gonna get him instead. Voids goes down. Peas in position. Snaking his way up with his teammate behind. Reaper at the ready at the far side of the doorway. Both teams, 4 players up. Wrecking Crew cannot afford to lose a round or this map is over. Stuff taking down Miggy. That's in the right direction as Reaper in position. Peas almost able to catch Reaper in just a second. It's going to come down to Peeker's advantage. There goes Peas. Reaper's going to take him down. Bullet in the process. Reaper, C4, throws over. So very unfortunate. Hard to throw that correctly. It's got a lot of weight behind it as Reaper's going to rotate to the backside. Reaper and Rival back and forth. Proteus, 2 players left on Wrecking Crew's 4. Ghost on the far side. We're going to come back over here. Let's take a look at Ghost. As Reaper and Rival taking shots back and forth. Ghost sneaking up that far side. Is he going to make it? Smokes are going to run out in just a second on Reaper and Rival. Let's head back over there as Draven and Acer are going to be shutting down Ghost in just a second. We're back onto Rival and Reaper on this push into Snake. Smoke is really shutting down Reaper. Stuff might have that supporting line onto Rival. As he does, there goes Reaper on that pick. Shots come out. Ghost knows he's the last up. He's right on top of Acer. Acer pushes out. That's going to be the pick, and Wrecking Crew's going to take a round. We go to a map. Not map. We go to a round 7. Very nicely done. We have one more uplink left on this map. Let's take a look downtown, shall we? Final uplink. Oh boy, that's a doozy. We talk about whoa. We talk about capable uplinks. Every single uplink on this map seems to be at high risk for cap if they get past the finish line. It looks like shutting down the offense early and nowhere near the uplink is the way to go. As this is going to come down to, can Wrecking Crew either clear out Proteus or get within spitting distance of the uplink with the code ready? Proteus, all they have to do is shut down that finish line. Very, very curious to see how this goes. This is really, really secluded. There's going to be a lot of coverage to take place for Wrecking Crew to get anywhere near this uplink as we get ready for the final round on this map.
Yeah, it's just one more round. What's this got the tight? We have a long angle over here, but never they can get up on the roof up there, so we gotta watch for that.
Beautiful comms from Proteus talking about all the lines they have to watch for. Just those friendly reminders. That can be enough just to get you there. Wrecking Crew on the push-up. Let's take a look at these push-outs. Here we go. Ghost gonna stay in that final cross line. Early shots come out from Draven and Reaper. Stuv gonna take down Rival. Rival gets finished off. Beautiful counter frag. Takes down Stuv. Select pie. Push out from Draven. He's in a beautiful position on center. Going to be able to shut down Draven here. But he is going to commit to that far side. Stuff does get revived. Voids is going to take down Select. That's huge. Peas is going to take down Voids on the refrag. With Voids out of commission, that's going to be very helpful for Proteus on the 3v4. Peas got the line. Stuff going to go right into his line and clean him up. 3 versus 3, round 7. These teams want the win. Draven trying to clear as many angles as he can. Oof! Beautiful grenade from Peas. Nearly catches both Reaper and Draven as Peas is going to shut down Reaper. No refrag from Draven. Peas has gotten so much value out of this center push. Shots come out from Draven. That's going to shut down Peas. 2 versus 2. The plot thickens. Miggy rotating on the crash back to uplink. That could be a big chance for Acer to take this shot. Acer not in a position to punish, and there goes Draven. Ghost gets the pick. All right, we are standing in Acer's shoes now. Let's get a feel for what he feels. Pressure's high, tension high. Map 1. Nobody has given up the momentum. Acer deciding whether or not to give his position away by using a util. Gonna decide to get his pick first before committing that util. Both decisions could be correct in some form. Utility definitely best served for clearing danger areas or positions you know you can confirm get a kill with. Just throwing utility for the sake of throwing utility is not going to be worth it this late into the round. You need that utility for those final clutch moments or situations where you are at a disadvantage. Normally, if you have utility and you haven't used it, you've wasted it. But in this case, he could end up needing it to clear out the final defenders. Flash comes out. Acer, no, he's going to sprint away blind. He manages to find cover by accident. Miggy and Ghost on that far side. I think that was just a guess flash in the hopes of footsteps. Absolutely beautiful. Acer on the push out. There's that utility usage now that there's a confirmed player. Flash. So, no, that is a beautifully cooked grenade. Airburst right on top of the link. Does not catch. Ghost on that far side is watching back towards the back line. Not committing 24/7. Peeking out occasionally. Excellent use of that position. Pre-fire from Acer. No shots back. Acer has gained no information, unfortunately. Ghost and Miggy around the corner. Ghost might have seen that. He committed a little bit to it. Acer just trying to get information off of uplink. He knows the last player or players are directly on top. If Ghost peeks out at just the right time, Acer will go down here. Miggy going down. Ghost does not refrag. Acer, it's all on you. 1 minute left. In 23 seconds, he's going to get a warning on his watch that the time is running out. Acer going to go down to Ghost. Proteus takes map 1. That is Proteus map 1. Very nicely done. Absolutely beautiful. Textbook pushes. Got that push back. Wrecking Crew putting a serious amount of work in on that final round. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to take the map. Proteus, beautiful, beautiful job. Back and forth. Heavy, heavy pushes. Absolutely nuts. Once again, many thanks to iStock and Boke VR for sponsoring OCL. This has been an absolute blast to watch. All the teams involved have been putting in some serious work. It's been an absolute pleasure and a joy. Proteus versus Wrecking Crew. Proteus is going to take map 1. This is a best of 5, first to 3. So it is far from over yet. Once again, a reminder, this is the finals for OCL. These are the last 2 teams standing, giving everything they've got. And the next map is going to be Subway. God, I love Subway. This is going to be, it's a caster's nightmare, don't get me wrong, but it is a player's dream, this map. Subway is close quarters combat disguised as a mid-range map. So it is going to be close quarter combat, but there's going to be a lot of time in between. And that is going to make this an absolute blast, as the first uplink is going to be on the lower platform. Both teams are going to get themselves ready to go in just a second. We got players trickling in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Knock gets another.
Chocolate pushing it. Perfect timing. Aztec did not spot him because he was staring up. Chocolate has made it all the way to the east roof.
Boy. He might get Aztec here, and he does. No? Yes. Yeah, 5 people. They're going to break down the ship. Luna takes down 2 right off the bat. What was that angle? Oh my goodness!
Aztec drop shots to this goal.
1,000. No! No!
Oh,
it's
goes
fine.
for the kill instead.
Anyway. Link is hot and smokes are all over the place. This is where you want to be if you're AOW. OVL needs to make magic happen. Patrice, great utility, flashes potatoes, swings, gets taken out by Angel. Position to give call-outs. Jay flashes Phenom here. Oh, he's going to slow push directly into him, and Phenom's going to clean him up. Smoke comes out from Elmo. Falls short. Antics on the roof. That's going to be a punish from Ringo as he's overextended to the roof. AK is going to get the refrag. Nicely done. Is AK watching it? No, he can't see. Zepon's in cap position. The smoke runs out. No! AK, take the shot. He can't see him. He takes down Timmy instead. No corner, takes two. Would have been legendary. Extra flash. Nobody's over there, but Phenom's going to use it to reposition. That could cost her. Rocket's got this angle. Phenom goes down. That's a beautiful grenade. They have 3 defenders to break in order to do that.
Go. Set up. We got 5 minutes, so they're more like aggressive. Yo, focus up, focus up. -1 barrels. I'm in barrels. Watch cubby, watch cubby. Alright, cubby clear. Yeah.
Thank you.
We need to watch. Yep. Close left, I'm pretty sure. Or like on the platform.
Absolutely love it. My apologies for the mic cutout. I've had something happen in the room that I'm in that kind of cut me away from things. A lovely IRL situation occurring just outside, making a lot of noise, which is so lovely. Unfortunately, you got to miss my beautiful voice on that round. However, absolutely insane, all of that going on. Suburban life. As Proteus is going to take the first round. Sorry, we'll do a quick recap. Absolutely wonderful push-ups from Proteus. Peas taking his good sweet time to get that resupply. Luckily, beautiful push coming out from Proteus, waiting until the last second for that push-up, giving Peas enough momentum to be able to try and clear out the last defender in the form of Stuv. Stuv, a monumental effort to shut down the final players of Proteus. Unfortunately, 2 flashes is a lot of util to defend against, and doing it honestly the best they could with what they had. I thought they were going to get that on that lucky pre-fire. Unfortunately, blindness is a difficult way to operate a firearm. As Proteus, let's see how they defend. Do they defend as well as they push? A beautiful push from Proteus in the last round. Can Wrecking Crew match that?
Anyone watching center flat right now?
We got the push-ups coming out. Ultimate and Peas, as well as Select Pie in the north. This is looking very similar. Rival's going to end up on this outside. Peas going into Horseshoe. Let's take a look at Ghost. He's going to run into opposition in just a second. Ghost setting up some flashlights. A little bit of a trap.
One in red, one in red. Let's see if that baits out an HE.
You know I love that. HE comes out. Ghost calling it like it is. Knew that an HE was going to come out. Throwing out some glow sticks for decoration. Very nicely done. Ghost, he's going to put a lot of slowdown on the form of Wrecking Crew through this red room. It looks like they've all committed to the red room. Let's take a look inside. Stuv in position. Beautiful C4 right around the corner. Very common placement for a C4, however. Will this get pre-grenaded? Or will this result in a pick for Ghost? Stuv's going to overextend. He's going to get picked off by Reaper. Ghost calling out a -1. Aware of the situation. Void's around the corner. This red room push not going nearly as smooth as Proteus's. Ghost is going to hold and wait for that position. Grenade comes out, lands behind the boxes, clears nothing. Reaper and Voids are in C4 point. That could be 3. That's going to be 3.
Reaper.
Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna be here.
Oh, man, no. Nope. My nerves can't handle this. There it is. Okay. Double down. Not going to get the kill.
Pushing. Nading.
That's going to be the nade to double confirm. Voids is by himself. Wrecking Crew has lost all their players. Acer, watching the flank, shuts down Ultimate Rival. Ghost is still shutting down the last of this push. Acer, gonna shut down Voids.
TK again? Did you guys TK again?
We're just gonna sit here and have a moment of silence for the 4 fallen Marsog ahead of us. If anybody has any words to say, now would be the time. Let us remember these fallen heroes. Acer, would you like to say a couple words? I know, buddy. I know. It is all up to Acer now on a 1v4. Acer has enough utility to fund a small army. Let's see what he's going to be able to do with it on this outside push. He has Ghost and Indie Couch to deal with. Flash has come out. There are no players in sight. Ghost has repositioned to the strongest possible reposition point on the far side. I think Ghost has Red Room. I think I can officially say Ghost has full control of Red Room and owns that pretty solidly. Shut down the early push, shut down the late push, and now gonna shut down the final cross. It's just Acer, last man alive, on the push out into Ghost line. All he has to do is choose the right time to peek. Acer committing fast, however. Select pie. Oh, I can't. You can't surprise me like that, Select. Ghost taking down Acer, and that is going to be the round. Holy cow. Sorry if I sound a little different. You hear me coughing a little bit. Just getting over something. As we get ready for the next round, it looks like Proteus is up 2-0 on Subway. Subway truly going a different method. As we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, on the next uplink. Taken out by Jay, it's just Rango, and Antics is about to finish it. There is no way he's ready for this. There it is. Shot. Boom! There it is. Phenom now has to watch the back. He's going to swing in. Antics gets punished. There's the refrag. Jay still holding the angle. Phenom's going to go out. That's going to be another refrag. There it is. Just like that. Last player goes down. Yeah, no quarters as one player.
These schmucks, bro. Who are they peeking?
problem.
Hey! No. Not allowed. They like smokes, so save your utility. If they get main control, it's probably better. Dude.
Nice, we got one.
I'm gonna break off the Nolo.
Mine's two. One more. Yeah, I think he's on dumpster.
Dumpster?
Yeah.
Or just not working.
That's sick. That was a waste. Yes. Run. I'm down right here. I'm down right here. I have needle on me. Thank you. We killed one.
I got one.
gonna say when I use the bathroom, I'm good.
They're all in basement. I didn't actually call you out yet. I didn't even hear you. So.
You go away,
Yeah, I bet.
sure.
One right behind the door. My service. Well done.
big guy. I mean, there's multiple basement. Jesus fucking Christ.
Shablam me!
Don't steal my kill, you bitch.
You stole a kill!
Kills don't matter, wins matter.
Fuck you!
Fucking nerd.
Okay. This guy enemy himself?
Just lie with his
Okay, well that's just... Wait, guys, I can't stop it.
Fucking flying.
I want to flash.
Yeah, I can take it, I can take it.
Watch long, watch long, watch long, watch long.
Yeah, they're moving through the basement pot right now. Currently looking up the south basement stair.
Ghost is
South
on
train.
the south tracks.
30th, third.
South tracks or train, I don't know what the fuck.
Nuh-uh. Better have a fucking grenade.
Yeah, well, I don't fucking have one either, but if I did, I'd kill myself with it.
I have one. You want one?
No. No.
Somebody on, If you have somebody on flank one.
Shiver me timbers.
Says they're me tempers.
How many are dead? One or two?
Still 3 basement exit, or, in the lower platform. One went north, I
Stop
believe.
calling us out.
I think one might have just barely peeked the north basement stair. No, they're slow crawling up to the south basement stair right now. One rotated back through bedroom, so 2 lower platform, and then 3 unknown. Yeah, was it?
One on the train. Train. Let's have team. I want to say no, never mind. I think I know. I killed North.
I still have 31 for
Yeah, we're shooting.
Fred. Honest. Oh no, behind the map, behind the map, behind the map.
Shut everything down by himself, and he has shot his weapon. He is exposed, and AK is going to take it down. Boom, there goes the grenade. Nova and Kami go down to Bubbly Toucan's grenade. Bubbly Toucan now on link takes down another. Rolly's going to take down Kaz by accident. That's a push out flash. Catches TK. Rolly swings wide. He's going to punish him. Ho, 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 ho. Let's come out over comms. Nova in position. A lot of heavy push-up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, map 2 is going to be, map 3 is going to be abandoned. This is going to be a long-range slugfest. Sorry about the microphone issues earlier. I'm not sure how that keeps doing that. The hotkeys seem to be mixed up, so every time I press the hotkey that's supposed to turn it on, it seems to be turning it off and double tapping. So my apologies for you guys missing out on my lovely, lovely singing voice on the last one. Absolutely insane push-up from Proteus on that defense, having those alternate lines, and eventually losing way to Wrecking Crew, being able to pull aggro off of the uplink and give that push out to get those picks. The team very spread out, hoping to get picks. Two picks on the north side, beautifully done, but unfortunately not enough when you have all the players on Wrecking Crew all in that section being able to get those picks and get those refrags. So it looks like we are 1-1 as far as maps go. This is going to be fantastic. Hopefully going the distance final, as we're going to be right back. Let me pop on over Proteus versus Wrecking Crew. I am not going to touch my microphone because if I do that and mute it, it seems to want to unmute and remute itself. So we're not going to do that. I'll go into the background and fix it. Oh, looks like it has been fixed. Oh, shoutouts to our other casters as well. Dark Tidings, looks like they are popping in and doing that. Lovely. All right, so we'll get back into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on Abandoned. This is a fantastic long-range pick fest. You'll see a lot of long picks. This uplink in particular, however, is high risk for getting captured on. This is a very, very strong uplink and a strong map for Proteus, as they have got those skills to pay the bills on the long range. Oh, look at that. Already in the spot. Bear in mind, pay attention to this box right here. This is the position. If you're going to see a cap, it's going to come in here, or it's going to come in these back sections over here behind the uplink. This will be where it goes down. These right here are your safe cap spots. Getting into any of those positions on Marsoc means you will, in fact, take the capture of the objective because you can send it from those positions. So be wary of that going into the next round as we take a look here. Wrecking Crew definitely not committed to the captures of uplinks so far. Proteus, however, could take full advantage of it. So let's see how it goes. Wrecking Crew getting the north side spawn. Let's take a look. Here comes the push out Voids. Rival and Ghost swinging out into the smoke. 5 lines. Ghost is going to take down Nolo. Voids, heavy bullets. Nolo down to the backside. Rival and Ghost are going to give up on that push. Rotate back to Link. Nobody makes it into Apartments. Apartments is a very risky push, especially for this reason. This is the one spawn that truly punishes that cross. Stuv, Reaper, 51, all in position on this backside. Oh, now it's doing that. That's a new one. There we go. How long was the screen like that? There's always at least one thing that goes wrong. Voids and Ghosts are going to take the trade. Wrecking Crew only having the down on the backside, however. It looks like that is a possible res that can come out for Wrecking Crew. Are they going to make that res? Looks like it. 51 goes back. Void's back online. Proteus, 4 players up versus Wrecking Crew's 5. On defense, they do know where they're going to be coming from, however. Miggy holding that line. Rival's going to shut down Nolo on the backside.
Another one east side.
Call-outs come out from Ultimate Rival. He's going to have this backside now.
Side like toll gate.
Void's holding the line with Reaper. Util comes out. That's going to be the M203. Does not connect. Rival does not go down. Beautiful grenade from Rival. As we see the push up, he's going to commit even heavier into the pipes. Flash catches 2. Rival uses the deafness to make that push up, gets in a beautiful position. Grenade lands just behind. Rival's going to hold true. With Rival here, he's going to be a major thorn in the side of Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew is not going to be able to get past the apartments as long as Rival is here. Void's in position. Rival going to get the pick. Reaper cannot get the refrag in time. Rival committing to the swing. Flash comes out. Rival swinging blind. Back and forth. Reaper just shut down Rival. That's going to give Wrecking Crew the positioning they need to be able to push up. But only 2 players left. They've burned all their bodies trying to make this cross. Time to loot up. Get some util. 2 minutes and 21 seconds on the clock. They are within somewhat distance of objective, but this is not a safe position to be at. Shots come out from Reaper, gonna take down Peas. It's just Miggy and Indy. Let's go to the uplink and take a look here. Indy couch holding on the final staircase. Miggy on the back side. Hoping to get picked off in the back if there is somebody coming up the flank, and instead watching the apartments. Let's take a look back over towards Wrecking Crew's push. Reaper and 51 redeciding how they want to make this push.
Like he's on a little balcony outside the south of it.
Reaper gives out a call out to a player that is not there. That could cost them, we'll see. Good instincts, however, as Indy's going to hold that line. He's going to play it cautiously. Miggy on that backside, watching the windows permanently. Indy not committing to the full peek 24/7, instead going to peek underneath through the tiniest of slivers. Watching for a potential kill. That is going to give Reaper and 51 the opportunity to make that cross and get up that backside. Is there any utility shutting down this push? We get no C4 in the area, which means that is going to be a safe push from Reaper and 51 if they want to get for that stairwell. That's going to put them in dangerous view of the uplink. Miggy holding now the flank. Indy, the main push. Shots come out from Miggy towards Reaper and 51. Indy flashes out the backside, catches nothing, however. 51 gets the cross off of his smoke. Nade does not connect. 51 now on the danger spot. Miggy gonna shut him down. As Reaper is gonna take down Indy, make a push in, commit. Miggy around the corner, Reaper commits to it, but he swings in and Proteus takes it. Miggy shuts down Reaper and takes the round. That is going to be round 1. Proteus. Absolutely beautiful push from the last 2 players on Wrecking Crew, and absolutely even more beautiful defend from Proteus holding those danger lines. Wrecking Crew just getting too reckless on that final cross to the uplink. Absolutely insane. We go into the next round in just a little bit. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. We will see you guys in just a second. Bubbly does get the refrag. Nova pushes out. Rolly pushes out. C4! Will he catch fire team on the inside? There's the util. It bounces off the wall. I think that's a grenade. Oh, it only takes Willie. That is fire team down. Here he comes to come in and clean up. He's going to swing. Killbox mobs. Ability to take control. So long as Killbox can keep control of that guard tower. And speak of the devil, there goes Bubbly Toucan. That's going to cost them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Util flashes
We
Ringo.
are
Nolo's
back.
We go into round 2. Southside spawn this time around. Let's take a look over there. Indy Couch pushing out in that far side. He's going to go directly towards Trench. See these early lines. It looks like Wrecking Crew has not identified spawn yet. Does make it across to apartments. Indeed, pushing into apartments. Voids is going to be his main opposition. As we take a look into 3-story, we have 51 holding that long cross. The rest of the team now following behind Indy. With one straggling off in the form of Peas, he's going to rotate up to Hill and try and take control of Fortress. Rival pushes into Void's line in just a second. Void's holding true. That's the pick. Voids, is he going to take one and be done with it? No, he is going to come back and try and get more. Indy Couch could be next on the chopping block if he's not careful. Indy taking the slow walk approach. Going to try and get in position to avenge his teammate. There is a saying in Onward, however, actually in most first-person shooters, never step on your teammate's body or you're liable to get killed by the same player. Let's see how Indy plays this. Indy, not a single footstep made. Gonna play cautiously and slow, but 2 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock. Proteus cannot afford to play this slowly. You're going to need to make some serious magic happen on this push. It is worth noting Proteus first on defense, which means they can trade defensive rounds and still take the map. Voids just holding steady. No information or any word on uplink itself as Peas is now pushing up that far side. Take a look over there as that's the shot from Ghost. Going to shut down Voids. That is huge. Voids, however, only down is going to give information. Not an ideal situation for Proteus. Still significantly better than where they were just a second ago. I want to take a look at Peas on this backside push. Gunfire coming out. Peas now slow crawling past 51's 3-story. 51 going for an alternate angle to try and get a faster crash and clear those back sides. Peas now slipping under. Is 51 going to see it? Looks like it. No, he's going to slip right past. As the rest of Proteus has made it within spitting distance of the uplink now. Ghost is going to go down. 51 takes the pick. Peas knows he's there. This is a risky slow push, but he's going to go for it. Ghost gets finished. Peas, this is very, very risky. Proteus, only 2 players left, one of which is slipping his way to uplink now. 51 should see him. That is going to be all she wrote.
Yeah, I just saw that dude.
Unfortunately, could not slip in the back line, and 45 seconds on the clock is not enough time for Indy to do much of anything. Time to go out in a blaze of glory. Proteus making a beautiful push, but making a beautiful push far too late. Util comes out on Link. Grenade catches nothing. Smoke is beautiful. It is going to shut down Stuff's line as Nolo is going to be supported by Reaper. Reaper is going to take down Indy Couch and end the round. Absolutely shut down. Unfortunately, on the way of Proteus. Proteus making a good push, but taking far too long to get into position. Losing a lot of momentum. I'm not sure. I think the general idea perhaps was just to throw Wrecking Crew off their game. Force them to play it slow and play a different style of slow game. Maybe get them a little antsy and get that pick. As we see, Wrecking Crew does take a round. Proteus and Wrecking Crew trading Volk rounds. Proteus can afford to do this and still win the round. As we get ready for round 3 of Abandoned. Next uplink is going to be down to Heli. Heli is a very pick-heavy objective. We're going to see a lot of long-range play now. As if we weren't seeing it already, it's going to be excessive now. As I'm seeing a lot of love in the chat, much love to everybody in the community. This has been a good one so far. That we like to see these close games, 1-1. Here we go. That's the spawn. Proteus on defense. See how they can make this work. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Round is hot. Here comes the push out. We're going to see a lot of opposition on apartments, it looks like. Let's take a leap ahead. Stuv has the line. Shots come out. Stuv nearly taking some toes. M203 comes out to try and shut down any aggressive push, as well as a grenade. Does not. Peas takes down Voids with a precision bolty.
Yeah, stay back there, Rival, and then refresh.
As we see the positioning, gonna matter a lot here. He's playing from helipad with that bolt action. It's gonna be very powerful. We'll come back to this side in just a little bit as they make the push-up. Miggy holding that line. Goes to the far side. Miggy's going to take down Nolo. That's a big cost. 51 and Nolo on 3-story. Peas in position on Link.
Outside of 3-story where?
Pick comes out. Peas cannot confirm. Nolo is going to get revived, unfortunately for Proteus. Wrecking Crew making that push into that far side. Miggy holding the line on Nolo and 51. Really getting as much value out of this back position as possible. Trying to get those long range picks and still shut down the cross. Needs to occasionally be ready for a slow push. Speaking of... we'll be back to that. Oh no! Grenade nearly catches Miggy. Some shrapnel lands in the back of his Achilles. Otherwise unharmed. Miggy in position to now check. Voids and Stuv are now in position to be blown to Kingdom Come. That is going to be the catch from the C4. Stuv shuts it down. Miggy throws a grenade to try and... I'm at a loss for words. Very nicely done. Miggy's going to take down Stuv. Does not set the C4 off, but it does get the double knock and kill. Miggy still doesn't confirm Stuv. Rival's going to come and clear that up for him. Flash comes out. Stuv blind. Wrecking Crew, last player up, and that is all she wrote. Indy's going to take down 51. And Rival's going to take that kill away from Miggy. We saw what you've done. As that is going to be Proteus taking defense again. Like I said, can afford to trade Volk rounds and take this overall. We've got a close game, and that's what I'm talking about. Proteus 2, Wrecking Crew 1. We're on map 3. It's 1-1. Anybody's game still. Both teams putting a valiant effort out. The pressure really setting in. I see you select buy. I know, I wish you could, but YouTube is very specific. I have to have a certain standard of reaching things before I can take in tips. So unfortunately, I can't take tips over YouTube yet. It's very sad, I know. Much love to the community. Much love to every single one of you guys. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys for showing up so consistently, coming in and saying hi in the channel. You guys rock, and you guys keep this community going. If you guys are watching and you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. That is how you can help us out over here. Keep us going. YouTube's a little funky with a lot of things like that, so we really appreciate every single push you guys can make for us. Be sure to like, subscribe, share the video with some friends, some family. The more views we get onto these videos, the more I can keep them coming for you guys. And the easier it is for you guys to support us. We appreciate you. Now enough of that. Let's get back to the gameplay. Wrecking Crew on defense. We've been trading Volk rounds so far. Proteus seems to be totally okay with that. They've been playing a very slow game so far. Let's see how they make this Marsoc push on an objective that is actually beneficial to play very slow on. This is going to come down to who can get those picks. Here comes those early lines we see coming out. Miggy holding beautifully. Seeing if he can get a free pick on that side. 51's going to push to downed heli. Nolo pushing by himself. Onto this east side. Shots come out. Bolty. Nolo tossing a C4. Does not connect. Still got a bit of time to set up. Opts not to. That is going to be an exposed C4. I'm not sure if they saw it fly over, though. That being said, it is a C4. I will still give it a camera. I'm curious. Oh. We'll see how that works out. As we have this far side, let's take a look at these long lines. It's going to come down to them. 51 on center. I see a blue laser right next to his head.
Broken one. What are you talking about?
All outs coming out for Ghost. Looks like Reaper on the push-up. Lovely little line. Could catch Ghost by surprise. Or more so catch Indy on the far side. Indy now having these long lines. Shots coming out. Miggy on this side of warehouse. Tank warehouse. Trying to get those picks. Trying to clear as much as possible and collect as much data as humanly possible for the side of Proteus. I like this. This map, this round is going to come down to data collection. Who can figure out where the most players are and pick them off? 2 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock, however. Proteus really taking their time once again.
I'm not seeing anything on the left side of the map. I'm going to come back through Valley. 2 minutes 30, guys.
Good call outs coming up from Miggy on time. Proteus for a team taking it this slow. Ooh. Ghost is going to take down that first pick. That's huge. Holding on Reaper. Could get picked from that center line, however. Very risky. Proteus playing it slow, but very, very time aware. Very rarely are there rounds running out straight to time as opposed to
Second. He's in second.
speeding up towards the end, as Ghost is going to hold the line on Reaper. It looks like he does see Reaper earlier on and is going to hold waiting for that push out. 51 in position on the train. There goes the smoke onto Reaper. Voids is going to take down Ghost. Reaper is going to reposition to the back side of the building and hold that cross instead. Very good reposition. Almost catches Miggy, but he's going to get shut down by Rival. Rival and Miggy have now pushed their way on the cross. Indie Couch just behind. Without Ghost on the far side, however, there is nobody to hold the cross for them, which means they cannot pull aggro off of this east side. 1 minute and 20 on the clock is too little time to make a reposition, or at least a major one. So Proteus is going to have to commit to either the backside or straight down Main Street. Are they going to head straight as the crow flies towards the objective, or are they going to make this backside push? Perhaps a combination of the two. C4 is actually harder to see than it seems. No, it isn't. I had to try to be positive. Miggy shuts down the C4 on that east side cross. Grenade comes out over the top. Would have punished a hard commit. However, Miggy did not hard commit. 30 seconds on the clock is very, very risky. Proteus needs to have a lot of faith in their ability to go for that quick speed push. Here it go. 26 seconds on the clock. Flash, flash, grenade, smokes. Cats, dogs, everything in between. Voids is going to shut down Miggy. Rival swings up, and that's going to be the trade. Volk round goes the way of Wrecking Crew. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still 2-2. As we get ready for the next uplink, let's take a trip over there. Abandoned. Absolutely going nuts. Next uplink is going to be Apartments. Folks, Apartments is going to be an explosive one. Gaining control of this little courtyard is in fact your finish line. Getting in anywhere within that circle means it is all over. Proteus has to be aware of that on defense. This is going to come down to whoever can win the Marsoc round first. Proteus really taking their time on such a big map. Not able to take a Marsoc round yet. Wrecking Crew simply going down to Proteus's honestly textbook defenses, gaining full control of the uplink. This is still anybody's game, and I suspect it will be all the way to the end. This uplink is a little bit different than most, as let's see if I can get a good line to explain it. So on this uplink, there is only one spawn for Marsoc. They spawn behind this main house and nowhere else. Volk will have to push up opposed to get control of the apartments, and they will have the last line to get to uplink. So this is a bit funky as far as the fact that unlike every other uplink on Abandoned, which has 4 spawns and they are always all over the map, this uplink in particular only has 1 for both sides. As we can see, that's that line immediately coming out from 51. Callouts. Not a single Proteus player crosses that line. They know better. Been around the block long enough. He's Indy Miggy, all taking control of Tank Courtyard, with Ghost going in the back of apartments, taking control of apartments. As far as Marsoc pushes go, it looks like we have a center push. One is going to push to a 3-story, and that is going to be an engagement in just a second. We'll come back to Ghost in just a sec, as we see that backside on Rival is about to go absolutely nuts. Let's take a look over there. Nolo pushing into Rival on this backside. Gonna take control of 3-story. That is big for Marsoc. However, we see a slow push. The ultimate Rival is snaking his way extremely slowly up the backside of Beach. I have never seen this before. P's gonna take down Void. Let's take a look over there. Reaper has an angle on the very tip of his head. That grenade absolutely max throw, but just misses Reaper as he's going to punish. Peas goes down. Reaper on the push-up goes down to Ghost. Ghost, a beautiful pick. Proteus, 3 players up to Wrecking Crew's 3. Shots come out from Stuv.
Well, pipes and
Onto Ghost. Ghost is now pinned. Stuv right around the corner. Nolo in 3-story is going to make this difficult for him.
I can't rotate out.
He knows he's pinned. Here we go. Rival takes down 51 from Beach. Stuv and Nolo back off, and that gives an opportunity for the cross from Ghost. Ghost sees his opportunity and takes it. Wrecking Crew, 2 players to Proteus' 3, one of which is flanking. Rival coming up the backside. So slow, so methodical, so cautious. Stuv peeks at the right time and shuts him down. 2v2.
Yeah. One's by shed.
Rival only getting the 1 pick out of it, and technically a save teammate, as that pick did allow Ghost to come back out. Proteus 3 players up though. 3 players. I could have sworn it was a 2v2. Indy Couch hiding even from the casters as Stuff is going to go down to Miggy.
We should be at Lima 1.
Just Nolo. As shots come out, Nolo on the push. Let's get a feel for what he's feeling. Nolo takes down Miggy, pushes up into Indy. Indy at the far side. Nolo coming right into his clutches. Yes, we are inside the wall right now. Indy swings it to Nolo and clears it out. Very nicely done. Right, let's get out of the wall. As Proteus is going to take another defensive round, Wrecking Crew 2-3. Wrecking Crew could win this Volk round, and unfortunately, it's still going to put Proteus in an advantage state. They've shown they're more than willing to just take Volks. Whatever gets the job done. This has been a very close game so far. Abandoned, very defensive favored, and Proteus knows it. Wrecking Crew has to be feeling the fatigue right around now as Proteus has drawn out each round, pulling and sapping away Wrecking Crew's energy. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We go into round 6. Like I said before, only 1 spawn on this uplink. We're going to get ourselves set up and see if somebody makes the mistake of pushing down the middle. At this level, we shouldn't see it, but you never know. Push out.
You don't cross me. That's a lie.
Nolo and Reaper committing to the backside of apartments. Voids pushing into center tank. And we see the double push to 3-story from Stuv and 51. This is a wide defense from Wrecking Crew. This is high risk. No push into that backside. We just see Miggy controlling blue. As Indy pushes up center to go for pipes. And heavy 3-story fight.
Center, heavy beat.
Stuv takes 1. Indy goes down. 2 more right around the corner. Peas. Stuv gets taken down by Rival.
Minus.
51 throws a nade around the backside. And then picks off Rival on the far side. This is a battle for 3-story. Beautiful grenade from Ghost does not catch 51. 51 did back off of the balcony. Going to go to the top window. He's holding. That's going to be... What a flick with a bolt action. Gets the res. He's still up. 51. Goes for another flick. That's another trade.
Don't nade ourselves, please.
Rez coming out from Peas into Ghost.
Here you go, bud. We got minus.
51 getting a double knock with a bolt action flick.
I should have downed another unless he hauled ass. Yeah, he hauled
That is painful for the form of 51. Seeing a bolt action only get knocks instead of full kills. Proteus, however, is going to take that and run with it. 3 players up. One making the push in the form of Miggy late into the round after holding to try and get a pick, and two controlling three-story. Three-story control is going to be fantastic overall for Proteus. However, if we look at Wrecking Crew's defense, there's not a single position that is exposed to three-story. So they're not going to get any value out of it, unfortunately. This is a game of numbers at this point. As both teams are trading back and forth, it's going to come down to who can get the most value out of each round. Proteus could end this right here, right now. But I suspect, as far as they're concerned, this is a bonus round as they plan to win it on Volk. Miggy, good pre-fire. He has their back on the top line, with Ghost pushing into that that lower section in the south. Let's take a look down there. Ghost gonna swing into Nolo. Nolo holding steady. What is the line he is holding? Yep. He's gonna see him. Unfortunately, Ghost is gonna pick him off anyway. Ghost deadly with that vector on that backside. Gonna take down one. Wrecking Crew 2 players up. Proteus could end this map right here, right now. Voids and Reaper last up for Wrecking Crew. Voids has to worry about Miggy in just a second, but he's playing the inside of the courtyard, so it's going to be that last line that he holds. Ghost exposed to multiple angles. Voids has the line. That's going to be the shot. Ghost goes down. 2 versus 2. Peas is going to take down Reaper from the inside. Voids swings out, gets the refrag. 1v1. Miggy right around the corner. Voids holding true. Voids has to watch every single angle from back here. That is going to be extremely difficult. Here comes Miggy. Gonna take it real slow. 55 seconds on the clock. Proteus is a master of getting the timing just down to the wire. They will use every second of the round. That's 90% more round per round. Here comes Miggy around the corner. Slow. Voids holding the line. Has to be extremely careful not to be spotted. Miggy's clearing the line. Voids not visible. Miggy might finish clearing, and Voids is going to come out and pick it. Wrecking Crew gets another round. They have one chance to win a Marsuck round on Abandoned. Can they do it? Let's head on to the next uplink. What is it? Tank Courtyard. It's Tank Courtyard. They got their work cut out for them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your final uplink for Abandoned. Map 3, 1v1, 3-3. This is scripted. I'm calling it. No way we get this kind of quality entertainment from these teams. Well played, both teams. This is going to be absolutely epic. I'm looking forward to the next 2 maps because I'm sure we're going to a map 5. All right, this objective has 3 potential spawns. Let's see if we can pull these up without breaking anything. Hold on, I want to take a moment here. Those of you at home watching, we have 3 spawns on this objective. We have a spawn up in the north, we have a spawn directly behind the apartments, and we have a spawn in the south side of the apartments. These are your 3 spawns to this objective over here. It's going to come down to how well can we prevent the push out from the outer lines going into this objective. There are so many ways to play this, and I'm so curious to see how they end up doing it. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Round 7, Map 3, Abandoned. Will Proteus be able to win that final Volk round, or will Wrecking Crew pull a Marsoc win against all odds? I see some familiar faces in the chat. Good to see every single one of you. Ghost takes down Stuff early. That's going to be a huge pick. Voids goes out for the refrag to try and commit. Cannot catch it. Nade goes out. Voids goes down. Stuff does get revived for Wrecking Crew. Void's still downed. It is a 4.5 versus 5. Ghost is shutting down this far side. That's the push out from Stuff to get Voids back up. Nolo going down to Miggy. Voids back up. Wrecking Crew loses a body at the same time. Still 4 versus 5. Voids is going to take down Ghost. There goes the main opposition on this south side. That's going to give a lot of control to Wrecking Crew. Reaper is going to take down Miggy and go down.
Fucking wall with that nade. I'm down center, minus the flanker.
Callouts coming from Reaper as he does take down one. That is a 3.5 versus 3.5. Stuff goes in for the res and gets shot in the back on the flank from Ultimate Rival. Miggy downed on the flank as well. Rival could get that res. Voids on the push-up, making a lot of noise for so few players up. But there are 2 heavy flankers, which means Voids does have a nearly unopposed push to Link. Just has to get past Indy and Peas on that final crash. Indy's gonna go ahead and clear out Reaper. Voids pushing up into him. Here we go. This is the line. This could decide it. That's the pick. Voids in position for the push-up. Has no idea he's being flanked. Could get on Link right now, but Peas is going to the final crash. It's just Voids against 3 players, one of which is on the flank crashing now. There goes Peas. Peas goes down to the M203. Voids has a clear push to uplink. Biggie on the crash. Pre-fire. Peas is down. I repeat, Peas is down. Rival flashes Voids from downtown. Voids pre-fire thinks he's getting pushed. Rival on the full crash. Another flash. The grenade finishes it. That is going to be Proteus for map 3. A close game. Double flank coming from Proteus, nearly costing them, and coming back in on that final cross. Beautiful push from Wrecking Crew, getting a lot of reses and pushing out into that Ghost in the south side. Ghost doing a great job shutting down that south, being a thorn, as Proteus is going to take the round. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on to map 4. We'll be right back. We're going to take a small break. There it goes. Flash. Doesn't seem to catch Nolo. Might have caught him. He's going to re-flash. Ringo's blind. Nolo has no idea he's there. There goes Ringo like a snake. A lot sooner. Select Buy is going to take down Shinobi. Classic detective with unlimited means of money at their disposal. You'd think they would have found their parents' killer a lot sooner. Select Buy is going to take down Shinobi. And that is forever going to be stuck in that clip. Is me talking about Batman. You got to be quicker than that. Oh. Oh. Peas. Here comes the push out. Beautiful utility. That catches him completely off guard. He's going for it. Peas. Flash 1. Flash 2. He's going for it. What is this man on? Can't back off because of this. There goes 1. Ring Monster goes down. Peas is going to overextend. He's doing it blind. Grenade. There goes Nolo. Side. Ringo's just holding at the door. I think with a knife. He's in the smoke. Yep. There goes the second. Flash does not connect. Pre-fire comes out from Shinobi in the back line. Select Pie. Fighting 1v5. Pounds pushes up. Very nice. C4 comes out. Does not connect. Peas commits to the swing up top. This is a game of peekaboo. Shinobi takes down Peas, just Smith left. A frag at one point. Yuto pushes in. Shinobi runs right into the frag, pre-fires into Peas. Smith swings, and he's going to take him down. Platform in a very powerful position, however. Peas. Quick peeks. Ring Monster forced to swing. He's going to get refragged. Does take one on the way out, though. Beautiful grenade. Doesn't catch anybody. Nolo's going to swing out. Ring goes down to a beautiful grenade. I'm sorry I wasn't able to catch it, as Wicked is holding here underneath. I figured this is going to happen anytime. I had to pick 50-50. Rengo takes him down, and that's going to be the round. Pounds Shinobi. Pretty standard push. As we see a heavy push in the south. I saw a line for a second. There goes Pounds taking a hit. He's going to start shooting back because he's too caught in the open. Select Pie coming up for this swing. He's going to come up the flank. C4 takes one. He's pushing. Select Pie's on his heels. Trade. I don't think that could have gone better for Shinobi. He was destined to die there. To the cross. Reload. Starts over. Wicked goes down. Select Pie's in on Link. Ring Monster. It's going to shut him down. Badger. Now coming in, it's a revolving door. Free fires coming out. Badger goes down again. Peas, are you going to be next in the line? It's a conga line on the uplink. Ring Monster's going to push into Peas. There goes another. Can you do it? See your reaction time as we see the heavy push in. Oh, Draven inside. We're going to back off. Van's committing. Free fires his way in. Nolo's going to punish him for it. There goes Van. As commits. 51's going to back off. C4 comes out. Does not catch Raz, which means 51 knows he's got to be pushing this interior line. He's going to swing. Raz commits. 51 commits back. Well, it's come out. Tenet and 51. That's going to be a beautiful grenade. Oh my god, it doesn't reach. 51's going to swing off of it anyway. Tenet going to trade. Nolo C4 takes down Tenet. No zone, not close enough to Rez. That's going to be the call out, but Tenet is going to go down to that C4. Nolo gets value out of that push. They're going to stay within eye shot of each other for the time being. 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Still plenty of time. 51's going to push out into Tenet. No! Tenet's going to look away at the worst time. Interior wall. He's peeking the stairwell. Very nice. Good alternate line to try and catch a player off guard. We'll see if it works out for him on Stuv. There it is. Stuv going to go down. Gets caught out by Darren Clark. Darren in that same position as the first round. Will he catch 51 again? Oh, I'm gonna say that's a no. Back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it. It is going to be USS Quest. USS Quest is a mid-range map with a good mixture of all kinds of different gameplay styles. So this is gonna, I'm not sure which of these teams is gonna benefit more, but this is gonna come down to the absolute wire once again, as both teams are gonna have no serious advantage over each other. This should be a good one. As we get into it, it is going to be, we have Proteus up 2 maps to Wrecking Crew's 1. This is a best out of 5, so at any point, if Proteus wins one more map, this game is over. It's going to come down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. If we've seen anything so far, it is that Proteus is a master of playing patiently, and Wrecking Crew has been putting in some serious work to try and keep this as close as it's going to be. Sorry. Here comes the push. Wrecking Crew is going to be on defense first. Proteus on the push. We're going to get a bird's eye view and take a quick look here. Let's see where these splits happen. Heavy spread coming out from Wrecking Crew. Going to take all sides of the map. Proteus, a little more condensed, as Select Pie is going to be the only one pushing the mid. Early gunfire in red. Select Pie pushes out. Going to take control of center. Let's take a look over at red on Rival and Peas. Pushing out far side. He throws the grenade, catches none. Acer ready at the backside. Here comes the peek. Reaper goes down to a beautifully placed grenade, C4. M203 comes out from Rival, catches none. Reaper repositioning to the back. There goes Acer. Finally goes up and gets his pick. Flash right on top of Ultimate Rival's head. He's going to stay stoic. Follow-up grenade does not catch as Rival did not lose his cool. Acer reposition. Shots fired in center as Ghost is in position on that far side next to Reaper. 51 making the push. Nolo takes out Miggy. Ghost at risk. Shots come out on the far side from Rival. Is going to take down 51. Rival makes the cross to uplink. Is he on Link? Rival spitting distance to Link. Pushes out. Trade goes out with the refrag. Ghost now in position on Reaper's old position. Nolo on the crash. One player left for Proteus. 2 players Wrecking Crew. It's all going to come down to what Ghost can do with this final push. AUG in hand. Nolo swings out. Ghost forced to commit. Swings out the backside. He's going to push out into Nolo. Nolo flashes. That's going to be the pick. Ghost goes down. Nolo taking the final kill. Wrecking Crew, round 1. Let's see if Proteus can make the same thing happen as we go back to the same uplink. Intense coming out of Red Room. What an eventful first round. A lot of good util usage on that push-up, and timing and positioning was on point for Proteus's push-up there. Getting within spitting distance of the uplink, going for that final cross. Unfortunately, final cross being made without any utility for the coverage. No flashes to cover the push, just a raw push in the hopes that the defenders were busy off of Link. Does result in a trade, putting Ghost in a 1v2 situation right on top of uplink. Unfortunately, not able to make that final push happen. Too much opposition left and too much utility left as that flash does catch. We go into the next round. Let's see how Proteus takes this defense. We're going to take an overhead view again. Proteus, another wide split. Nolo does take a bullet in the process. So much utility. All the usual suspects immediately flashed or grenaded. Looks like Wrecking Crew is going to commit 4 onto this far side with 1 up the flank as Ghost is going to take down 51. Reaper in position, pushes up. C4 takes down Voids. Reaper making the push. Select Pie takes him down. Let's head back over to Red on the uplink. That's the push out. Rival in position on Link. Outer line for Ghost. Gonna end up on Voids and Acer. Flash. Catches Voids, catches Acer. Here comes Miggy on the back line. Voids stuck. Absolutely pinned. That's gonna be the finish. Miggy on the flank, Ghost on the front. Party in the back. Business up front. As that is going to be Proteus taking another round. Let's head on to the next uplink. USS Quest. Gone with the bathwater, and I mean that literally. We want to talk about creative map design. Sticking the entire map on a cargo ship in a bathtub. Love this community. As we go into the next objective, it is going to be on the southwest side. Objective only has one particular heavy weakness, and that is the capture on the inside of the red crate. Yes, you can capture this objective inside of there, so you do have to watch for it. However, on Marsoc, very atypically do you ever make it inside of there without already being well past the finish line danger zone for the uplink. If you've made it to that red crate, odds are you could have captured the uplink already anywhere else on top of it. There is the rare case of getting the flank though, so it's worth noting that you can capture it from inside. As I'm curious to see how the defense plays this out on this uplink. Proteus, been around the block, know what they're doing. They're going to know all the typical spots. Is Wrecking Crew going to use them anyway, or are they going to try and change it up? Remember, the meta spots are meta for a reason. They're used because they work. So not using them does put yourself at a disadvantage in most cases. Could trip up the opponents, though. We'll see. Proteus versus Wrecking Crew, your OCL finals. Once again, I want to make a shout out to iStock for supplying part of our prize pool for these teams today, as well as Boke VR for providing Boke stocks for the winning team, as well as a major discount for the second place team. Definitely much shout outs to them. They've been in the community for a very long time and provided a great deal of fantastic value to the community, as well as some of the most fantastic stocks as well. Much shout outs. As we get ready for round 3, Proteus versus Wrecking Crew. We'll take an overhead view. On this uplink, or on this side of the map, you have 3 possible objectives, all of which play their own way. This being the closer side one, so we'll see how this goes. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Long line, Peas holding Nolo, can't push out, 51 pinned. Peas getting that early line is very powerful for shutting down anybody holding that backside. That does allow Marsoc to make that push up. Nolo trying to bait out shots. Red Room not in danger yet, but will be soon. Peas on the heavy push up, now giving up his line, hoping that nobody decides to push at the worst possible time. Trading some utility, very nice. Ghost and Peas on this far side. Miggy going down to 51 of the cross. Nade goes out. There goes 51. That is the risk of a meta position. However, Nolo in position to get the res immediately. Got your cover, battle buddy. Peas and Ghost now pushing up USM 50. I don't know. Oh God, I can't words. USM 51 taking down another. Nolo taking down Peas with the C4. That's a res. Peas right around the corner, going to swing in. Goes for a cheeky blind res. Nolo takes 2, clears that out. Void's going to shut down 51 for looking at him wrong. Reaper crashes back to uplink. Acer in position on the far side. Void decides to try and take another. Last player alive for Proteus. Where is he? Rival on Red Room. Don't give me that look, Rival. Giving us a little hand wave. Rival last up. Mom's Spaghetti.
Oh, I see you. I was about to shoot you too.
Wrecking Crew, appearing to be their own worst enemy, nearly had 14 kills on this round alone. Everyone on edge. Hairpin triggers. Rival last up for Proteus. Proteus making a very strong push on the west side. Unfortunately, running into heavy opposition and not enough utility clear to be able to make that kind of a heavy cross out. Doing a great job shutting down that west, just not able to make that final push to uplink. A little more utility, might have had it. Ultimate about to push into Acer right here. That's the line. Nobody breathe. Swing, and then Acer clearing it out.
Oh my god. Dude, you scared the fuck out of him. Oh my god.
And that right there says it all. Wrecking Crew takes their defensive round. It looks like we're trading Volks again. This has been neck and neck, back and forth, the entire match, and I am for it. Both teams refusing to give up, refusing to give in, and pushing to the end. All right, since this is going to come down to Volk rounds, let's talk about these objectives for just a second here. This uplink has 3 objectives. You've got the 4 objectives. You've got the main objective by Red Room, high risk of captures. You have the secondary objective just behind the green crate, also at high risk but not nearly as dangerous. You have the objective over on the far side by containers. Why did you get small? That's weird. There we go, that's better. You have the objective on the far side Legos, and then you have an objective at the far side back. All of which play very differently to each other and must be watched out for. As we get back into it, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Proteus on their defensive round, a favorite to win the round. Looks like Wrecking Crew getting red side spawn and committing. That is 5 red side. What is going on? Not a common play at all. Wrecking Crew has decided to go 5 red side, committing all their eggs to 1 basket, and that is the flank basket. This is not even a red side objective. M203 just shut down the white Lego, but Rival was not playing it. Counter flash from Rival. Slows down the push. Voids, grenade, doesn't catch Ghost, but almost. Swings, Rival, punish. Acer goes down to the grenade, Rival takes 2. Reaper and Rival trade. Rival takes 3 on red side. Nolo pushing up to trying to commit. Lots of counter flashes, grenade doesn't catch. Flash catches both the players. Util is being thrown left and right. Ghost blinded, holding his line. Nolo needs to get that res on Acer without getting picked off by Ghost. Easier said than done. Wrecking Crew 3.5 players needs to make it back to 4. Good smoke from Reaper as he's going to commit. Ghost is going to swing. That's going to be the pick. Nolo does not refrag. There's the peekaboo back and forth. Ghost and Nolo. 51 right around the corner. That's more utility. Grenade overthrown. Does not catch Ghost. Nolo's going to swing in. Ghost swings up. Nolo holds for the swing out. Back and forth. Trade. Proteus. Absolutely shutting down red. That is the risk of going 5 red. What a high commit play. Does not go the way of Proteus. That was risky business. As ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be another Volk round 2v2 map 4. We got a good one today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your OCL finals. Proteus versus Wrecking Crew, sponsored by Bulk VR and iStock. Wow, I can't words tonight. I really can't. You can tell it's been a long weekend for me, as we have Wrecking Crew on defense, Proteus on the push. Proteus is going to want to take a Marsoc round here to establish a win. This is going to be a very good objective to defend. This is the most defensible objective in my opinion. Miggy and Ghost on that west side, going to take it slow. Nolo taking shots. Reaper playing the white Lego. Grenade goes off just a little too high. As we see Peas and Rival coming up that red side. Reaper taking Miggy. M203 catches nobody. C4 from 51 on Vibes, and Vibes alone catches none. Acer, beautiful grenades. Select Pie takes 51 with the trade. Beautiful grenade from downtown from Peas. Acer goes down. Nolo going in for the immediate res. Flash to try and counter. Overthrows the flash. Rival around the corner. C4 catches none. Acer shuts it down. That is going to be a 1-for-2 trade in this form of Proteus. Wrecking Crew 3 up to Proteus's 1. Looks like Wrecking Crew is going to take another Voke round as Voids comes around the backside. Ghost is right on top of this backside. Reaper trying to get the flank. Will he catch him in time? He will. That is going to be the trade, however. Wrecking Crew takes the round with 1 player left on the trade. Cutting it real close on that flank there. Beautiful flank from Ghost. Been putting in a lot of work tonight. As we get ready for the next round, unbelievable stuff. Proteus making that heavy push into Red Room, making it work for them. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, going the way of Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew shutting Red Room down. Now needs to worry about that flank from Ghost on that west side. Ghost really making a push, trying to get some work done. Unfortunately, flanked themselves from the center. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition flank. That makes sense, right? As we get ready for the next round, we have to watch for the side push from Wrecking Crew. They are on their Marsoc round, and they don't technically need to win it to be able to trade Volks. However, they could shut this down right here, right now, and force a Game 5. At any point, Proteus can capture this objective. At any point, Proteus could take their Marsoc round and end the match. Let's see the push-up. Wrecking Crew not going 5 strong on Red Room this time. Learn their lesson. Reaper 51 on the cross. Smoke comes out, shuts down the white Lego. Very strong smoke. Grenade lands next to Reaper, takes him down. Nade from downtown, shuts down 51 and clears out Reaper. That is a confirmed -2 on the west side. All that's left is Red Room. 2 grenades shut down an entire half of the map, as that is going to be a trade from Ghost and Voids. Rival ready at the backside. Acer cannot refrag. Rival, another grenade. What is with these grenades and these flashes? They have been so devastatingly on point. Acer in position to try and make a push, waiting for his teammate in the form of Nolo in the back. Rival around the corner, ready to ruin Acer's day. This could go down at any moment in the next 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Acer does hear Rival walking around. Back and forth. That's going to be Rival down. Acer makes some push. Proteus 3 up. Knows the last couple of players, or at least last player, is on red side. Miggy ready around the corner. Unfortunately for Wrecking Crew, there is no far side coverage in the form of the west side. That got destroyed by 2 grenades, meaning there is no way to pull aggression off of red. They're going to have to brute force this or make a full reposition to the backside of the map, which honestly it's not entirely unheard of to make a rotation to the far side. It would take about 1 minute and 30 seconds, leaving you 1 minute and 30 for that flank. But it can be done. In about 30 or 40 seconds, it will no longer be safely possible as far as time goes. Nolo catching another flash grenade, trying to clear out. Red Room is going to take a good chunk of time to make that clear safely. Rather than go for a commit on the reposition, they are going to commit heavy into Red Room and start clearing out. Nobody on this back balcony means there's not going to be any heavy backside coverage. However, we do see Peas on the backside by shipping containers, that is going to be able to shut down the flank possibility for Wrecking Crew. Proteus is in the correct position that they need to be able to shut this down. Acer and Nolo, 2 minutes on the clock. You're at hour 0 now. Miggy. Holding, hoping a player is going to come out that flank backside. Really overcommitting a little bit, but he's hoping to come in around the back and face the opposite way, it seems.
I know it's you.
Back and forth, Nolo and Acer, 1 minute 30 on the clock. They need to make something happen. They need to make it happen soon. They've already made a ton of noise. Nolo needs to try and bait some information out. Select Pie has the angle. Acer and Nolo have no idea how at risk they are.
Not util.
Utility left. Select Pie patiently trying to get that angle. That's the shot. Nolo goes down. Last player. Acer swings out, does not get the refrag. Pushes out. Peas ready around the corner. There goes Acer. Proteus takes their defensive round. Now the question becomes, will Proteus be your champions by taking a Marsoc round? Or is this going to go for another Vault trade? And are we going to go to map 5? Personally, I'm biased. I want to see a map 5 because this has been fun to watch so far and I want more. Proteus, one hell of a pedigree, making it known, playing it smart and playing to the strategy. This is the last objective to the right here on this side of the map, and this objective is electric for Marsoc. This is going to be the deciding factor. Can Proteus get the electric Marsoc round and take this objective by force? Or are we going to map 5? The utility so far has been nothing short of stellar. I want to see more of it on this last objective of USS Quest. We have gone 3-3 every single map. Here comes the spoons. This is utility timing. No utility out. They're saving it. Reaper pushes out to blue Lego. It rotates back, sets a C4. That's the smoke on uplink. That's high risk. There's the util. Lands just shy of white Lego. So much smoke so early. That's the smoke you need late in the game to try and take the objective. Instead, taking the smoke on the early lines, it does, however, force Nolo to stay on that far side. Speaking of far side, it looks like all of Wrecking... There we go. That makes more sense. All of Proteus is on the red side. Shoutouts to Dark Tidings, also casting along with me. Throwing me off a little bit on the name switch. Acer, counter flash, counter grenade, catches none. Rival right around the corner on there. Acer, not sure when to pop that C4. Flashes, Rival makes it pass. He's on Link. Acer shuts it down. Peas now controlling the backside on white. That came way too close. Flash doesn't catch Acer. Once again, another goes down in the form of Peas. Proteus, looks like we're going to a game 5. Select Pie is going to take down Nolo. 1-1. Wait a minute. 1-2. 51 gets res. Select Pie 1 versus 2. Rough position, and you have to wonder if he's going to go for picks instead. That's flashes coming from the far side. Nolo is going to try and C4 the center. Select Pie has to commit for a flank here, and he has to do it with extreme haste. If he waits until 1 minute 30 on the clock, 1 minute on the clock, that means 51 and Acer are going to be watching for that flank late in the game. If you can get to that flank before people expect you to be able to be there, that is the only way you're going to get that serious value out of that flank. Select Pie need to make some moves. Running out of time. This is that patient method. This patience, will it pay off? Wrecking Crew, are they going to stay vigilant for the flank into the late game, know their timing, or are they going to be too afraid of that front push, potentially losing Acer and the uplink? No, 51 has now repositioned. We are at 2 minutes left, and 51 is now watching flank. If you're Select Pie, this is what you don't want to be happening. He is going to clear very beautifully on this push, though. Catching every line he needs to. Doing it carefully and meticulously. Not afraid of running low on time, as Proteus has shown this entire match. The clock has been their friend. 51, now a free kill. That's going to be the pick from Select Pie. Acer, can you reposition in time? No, he's going to hold steady. This makes it a fair 1v1 for Select Pie. This is what Select Pie wants. Wrecking Crew. One opportunity, one moment. Will they capture it or let it slip? I made that up on the spot, by the way. I should go into music. $56 seconds on the clock. Select Pie meticulously slicing that pie. $26 seconds on the clock, still slowly trying to slice that pie. Acer could win this on time alone. That's a footstep from Select. He's now audio clear, 14 seconds, pre-fire. Acer right around the corner. He doesn't even have to do anything. 6, 5, 4, Select on link. 3, Acer swings, 1, timeout. Wrecking Crew goes to game 5. Absolutely incredible. That was USS Quest. We're going to the last map, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you guys there in just a moment. We'll be right back. And he's going to see him. That's going to be the pick. Oh no, the flash catches Tenant. Draven walks right past his line while he's blind. I don't even think Draven realizes there's a player up there. This is incredible. That's a shot from Tenant. Draven, you should be aware. I don't want to look away because that's what this is going to happen. Here comes Draven underneath. Tenant has no idea that's going to be the pick. That is an HE frag coming out from James from Pillbox. Attempts to pick off Aztec. Shots are being fired to pre-fire. Oh my goodness! Would have cleared the farthest right side of Hesco, but not by much. I can't say that was an excellent nade. Dodo and Mattress in the south holding. As shots come out from Nova. Nova's going to get the pick from over here. Pick. Base slap and catching Dodo and red. James goes down to a beautiful nade from Aztec. As Nova is going to take down Base Slapper as a refrag. James now down next to Marksman. Mayhem's last two up. It's gotten very, very quiet. Williams gets flash, counter flash. Texas and Williams both flash. Texas slow pushing. He's going to commit. Swings up. Williams go. Here comes Texas and Mithril Marauder into VR Specialist. They're going to back off. This could be deadly for them if they're not paying attention. Mithril looking at his tablet gets picked. Out so thin, feels so thick, for lack of a better term. You know what? I don't like how I put that. Can I take that back, internet?
It's too late now.
All right.
Texas makes up special.
Texas left right compared to the last round. Chimichanga has backed off the angle. Specialist now in view. Jimmy, all he has to do is peek out. There he goes. Specialist goes down.
And just moving down South Street.
I don't know what's going on with the source
so
in that
see
one. It
how
just keeps
Texas
resizing
is for
itself.
that
Sorry for
screen
the
here.
tiny
See if he's
screen.
going to use some utility
Speaking
to
of
try and get him
pick,
out of there.
Specialist has finally decided to peek out of the angle that he has. Gonna catch Texas. He's gonna have the angle now. He's gonna get his own opportunity to take that attempt. Looks like he is running the HK. No. Boom. Specialist gonna take down Mason as well.
I'm down. I have no idea where from.
Seconds on the clock. That's the util. Flash. Specialist is now blind. He's gonna swing it blind, hoping Chimichanga pushes, but there's 9 seconds on the clock. He doesn't have to. He's gonna swing around the back, and Chimichanga's gonna take down Specialist and clutch up the round.
Audio cue. Blue now knows he's there.
Getting flamed by now.
Yep, there goes Blue peeking out slow. He needs to commit to the swing. He throws the C4. The C. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the final map of our OCL finals. Wrecking Crew versus Proteus. This is one heck of a match so far, right down to the wire, every single map. Absolutely insane. Hold on 1 second, we need to fix something in the back here. Some names here. Ignore the man behind the curtain. You see nothing. Couldn't help myself. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been enjoying what you're watching, it's only going to get better as we have our final map. Both teams are trickling in and getting themselves situated. We'll be right back. Proteus versus Wrecking Crew. We are on to the last map. This has been one heck of a finals between both teams. Both teams have all their players at the ready. We're about to get started any moment now. The teams are getting themselves situated. Once again, shout out to iStock and Book VR for sponsoring OCL, providing our lovely prize pool for these amazing players and these teams. These pros have been working hard at work for a very long time to get here, and we appreciate all the hard work and sweat and time that they've put into this, as well as the sweat and time that the community has put into this game. We love every single one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Map 5. Round 1, here we go. Down to the wire. Will we see it right up to the last map? That is the question. We have defense, Proteus, Wrecking Crew on offense. Here comes the push-up stuff. Voids. Nolo coming up that far west side. We have the east side push. Early gunfire. Beautiful nade almost catching Acer. He's on that center line. Rival right around the corner on Stuv. Stuv smokes it out. Rival shoots him right in the crosshairs. That's going to be one down. As we get ready for the push-up, Rival has repositioned inside C4. We'll be right back to see that. Never mind, C4 is it early. Nolo drops right on top of Rival. Clears him right out. Reaper takes down Ghost with the M203.
-2.
And takes another shot. There goes Peas. Select Pie, last up for Proteus. Smokes all over Link. Select Pie, you need to get in there. 1-1000, 2-1000, 3-1000. Reaper. That is one of the craziest first rounds we have seen all night. Reaper getting his redemption, capturing the objective before the grenade landed at his feet and shut the round down. Proteus has to be kicking themselves for that one. That is a lot of momentum for map 5 in the form of Wrecking Crew. Proteus has kept their cool and their focus all night long. Can they continue to do so in the face of such a difficult first round? Proteus needs to clap back and clap back hard. Will they do it? Proteus needs to have a very explosive Marsoc round. This has been down to the wire this whole way through. Can Proteus keep it that way, or will Wrecking Crew use this momentum to push to the very end and take themselves the championship? Absolute insanity, that cap. This objective is high risk with that much smoke on Link. If I'm being honest, an objective completely in the open is high risk with that much smoke on Link. Proteus is last player in a really rock and a hard place situation. That is a rough place to be. There it is. All right, we have Wrecking Crew on the defense. Proteus, let's see if they can make the same level of aggression happen, or are they going to play it slow and play it methodical? Has worked fantastically for them all night. See if they can do it again. Beautiful grenade coming out from Select Pie. It is a smoke. It is going to land. Unfortunately, not true. Gets caught up on the top of a cargo container. Double push up right above Stuv. Callouts coming out from Miggy. More smokes. This is a lot of smokes on Link. C4 comes out from Stuv. Takes down Rival. Ghost needs to get the refrag first. Goes in for the res. That's going to be the double kill for Stuv. Miggy in peace right around the corner. Unable to refrag. Nade comes out late. Voids goes down. Stuv takes another. Miggy right above Stuv. Stuv takes down 3 players by himself. Proteus does not want to be in this position right now. Miggy and Select Pie are in a unique position between each other to be able to put a lot of pressure on the uplink from 2 sides. Miggy is instead going to push down and try and take down Stuv. He does. Stuv goes down. Nola right around on the outside here. Select Pie on the far side. Things have slowed down drastically, but there's a lot of time left on the clock. Miggy throws that smoke out from the M203. Trying to put the fear of God into Nolo. Select Pie is going to swing out and try and get that pick. Acer's right around the corner, however. Almost catches him. Select Pie does not rotate away fast enough. Acer does get the confirm. With enough gunfire, Miggy throws another smoke onto Link. Link is now active for smokes. However, Reaper and Acer both have that back line Miggy's about to cross. Look at the 2 lasers Miggy is about to walk into. That is a lot of death. This poor man does not realize he's about to walk into Mission Impossible. Let's see if Miggy can pull off the impossible. Nolo right above as well. There is a universe in which Miggy does not push this. There's the Reaper pick. Oh, he commits to try and take Nolo, but doesn't see Acer around the corner. I can't even words. Acer takes him down. Wrecking Crew goes to 3. We're at the first 3-0 tonight. Unbelievable. Objective not far off. It is going to be right up top here. Oh boy. This is a sneaky objective. I personally can't say I've commonly seen a lot of captures on this uplink. Just for fear of capture, I'm not sure what the capture points on this uplink are. So for the first time in a while, your guess is going to be as good as mine. So we're going to be surprised together. Proteus needs to make something happen on defense and then get a very strong offense, or they are not going to take map 5. And it will go to the upset in the form of Wrecking Crew. This has been a close game this whole way through. I want to see that final push coming out of Proteus. On the rare occasion that Proteus is the underdog now, needs to make this comeback. Let's see if they've got this. Comes the push-up. I'm expecting some util to fly through the sky and land right there. Select pie on the push on the far side. There's the util. Early does not catch. Nolo takes a bullet on the cross. Rival gets in deep and underground. Ghost is going to take Nolo with a grenade. He's holding a beautiful line onto Voids. Here comes Void's slow peek. Going through the backside of the cargo crate. Shots come out from Select Pie. Takes down Reaper. He's might look away at the worst possible time. Stuv now underneath. Rival holding on this backside. Miggy holding the nice solid line to the center. Voids is going to take down Peas. Here comes the angle. C4 from Rival does take down Stuv, but it takes himself in the process. Voids on the push-up. Miggy flashes Rival. No callouts. Voids in a very terrifying position for Proteus. Proteus cannot afford to lose even a single round from here to the end of the match. That's the res going out for Stuv. Miggy unable to do the same. Smokes come out from Voids. That's the res. Miggy, check your tablet. Miggy back and forth. Voids commits, gets the confirm. Miggy on the swing, does not get caught up by Stuv. Goes back to flank. Ghost takes down Stuv instead. Voids is now on the flank. That is not where you want a Marsoc to be on defense. Proteus has to be very careful. Ghost refuses to get capped on. He is right on top of Link. Void's going down to the backside. Miggy shutting it down. Wrecking Crew is not going to end it just yet. Reaper and Acer on a 2v3. Not in a powerful position just yet. Needs to get one more pick to make it a powerful position. Ghost over peaking. Acer might get his pick. We'll see how it goes on this push. Reaper making it up that center line into danger zone area for Proteus. Select Pie on the far side, however, is going to be the wild card for Proteus as far as Wrecking Crew's last two players are concerned. Here comes the line. Select Pie into Acer and Reaper. No, he looks away at the worst possible time. There's a person right there. 1, 2, Select Pie takes him down. That is Proteus taking their first round of the map. This ain't over yet. Absolutely phenomenal work from both teams. These pros are really putting the work in. Proteus refuses to back down. Now on Marsoc, going to make this push. Can they get the momentum back? If they do not get a cap on this objective, they will have to play another Volk and Marsoc round to have a shot. And that's assuming they can clear out this Marsoc round. Proteus cannot afford to lose a single round from here on out. They can do it. The question is Wrecking Crew going to lock this objective down? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wrecking Crew on control. Take a look at Proteus on this push. Ghost, Peas, trying to take the overhead line, see if they can get a pick. Select Pie, early. Smoke, trying to shut down a couple of those lines. Reaper pushed up into center. Gonna be a big thorn in the side as Select Pie trades with Voids. 4 and 4. Miggy's gonna take down Nolo. Beautiful grenade onto that backside. Nolo goes down. How did you even thread that needle? Another grenade follow-up does not catch anybody. Reaper and Rival trading. There's going to be a lopsided trade as one is downed. Acer downed as well.
Death gurgle, yes you are.
Ultimate. Going to call out Acer to get the finish there.
Two dead, two dead.
That is, in fact, a death gurgle. Wrecking Crew, 2 players up against Proteus's 4. Not ideal for Wrecking Crew. However, this does not appear to be likely to end in a cap. Nolo has his final cross line, and that's been grenaded. So the question is, are they going to cover for that line? Rival goes down, but not before throwing a util out. There it is. The util taking down Stuv with the trade. Self-refrag as Nolo's going to take down Miggy. Proteus only has 2 players left. And Stuv is giving out as many callouts as he likes. He's util in hand, cooking. Beautiful flash. Nolo's blinded. Peas goes for the stab. This man had no weapon. Win or lose, that will have always happened. Here comes the next uplink. South side now. This is a good one, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is, you want to talk about risky capture positions and crazy scenarios? Take a look in there. Oh, yeah. It's coming together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your season finals for OCL. Wrecking Crew, Proteus, 2 maps apiece. Wrecking Crew up 3 to Proteus's 2. Now on the push for Marsoc. Sorry, on defense, actually. Proteus is going to have to play a Volk round, which means there is no way that Proteus can end this match right here, right now. Wrecking Crew, however, only has to take this 1 round. Proteus has no choice but to take this and the next round in order to be your season champions for OCL and claim those sweet, sweet prizes. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Ghost pushing up to the overhead. Might catch one. Did catch a cross. Tries to get shots on Stuv. Nolo takes a bullet in the process somewhere along the line. Acer on the far side. Ultimate Rival making that far cross. Miggy about to be in position to make a power play. Let's take a look over there. Miggy on control of the far side west. M203 comes out, catches none. Oh, that put me through the wall. And of course, that's right when he swung in. Onward timing is not limited to players. It affects casters as well. Peas is going to take down Reaper. That's going to be big for Proteus on a 5v3. Nolo pushing up carefully. Is Miggy going to get the line? Back and forth, trade! Miggy gets the trade. Unfortunately, advantage for Proteus as far as Wrecking Crew is concerned. Acer is going to take down Peas, however. It is now a 2 versus 3.5. That is the immediate res coming out on Miggy. So now it is a 2 versus 4 Wrecking Crew. Proteus looking like they're about to make this a map 5, game 7. Void's now creeping up behind Miggy. Let's head back over there. Let's head back over there. There we go. Sneaking up around the backside.
One up in me near tunnel. Fingers on the outside of it.
Call outs going out on Acer. Does not realize that Voids is currently creeping up on him.
He's in the building by under tunnel.
That is going to be a pick for Wrecking Crew and immediately a refrag from Ghost. All that's left is Acer. And there it goes. We go to Game 7. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wrecking Crew, Proteus, 2 maps apiece. Round 7 of map 5. At the end of this round, somebody will be named champion. This could not have been a closer final game. Hard work throughout the season fully paying off as both teams really pushing that final play. Proteus, their patience really paying off in this late game. Wrecking Crew getting that early momentum with that immediate cap into another round win. And unfortunately, there is a saying, not every game is winnable, but every game is throwable. That momentum can turn into a complete halt if you let it. Does Wrecking Crew have enough left in the tank to pull this out and get the win? Wrecking Crew has the advantage in the form of defense. That has not stopped Proteus so far, though. Let's see how it goes. Proteus in the early push-outs. Here we go. Early util smoke to try and shut down that line. Stuv could be a wild card, pushing really deep into that far side. No players contesting him. He could go for flank, but he has no way of knowing. Voids is going to down Peas with a beautiful grenade. There goes again. Peas and Select Pie this time. And then just Select Pie. 3 grenades for 2 kills is a fair trade in my book. Proteus down to 3 players on the final round of the match.
Take it easy, boys.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Miggy keeping his cool, reminding the team to just relax, take it easy. 4 minutes is plenty of time to cross such a small map. They're going to wait until players get peaky and punish them for it. Wrecking Crew still has all 5 players though. M203 as Voids is going to take down Miggy. There it goes. Proteus, 2 players left up against 5. And look at Wrecking Crew. Nobody's getting antsy. Reaper chilling. Nolo just taking his time, holding his line. Stuff doing the same despite the smoke open on cap. Rival almost getting C4, does not. Making lots of noise in the hopes of making Acer start to panic as Acer's running back and forth. It's the last round of the last map. Acer taking down Ghost. Rival, last up. It only takes 1. Can Rival slip into the uplink and get the cap? As right now, that is his only win condition. However, hold the phone. Hold the phone. We're going to take this route here. At no point does Acer get any line here, nor is that line clear, nor is that line safe. The only opposition would be Nolo on this one line through center. Correction. This guy exists. Hi, Reaper. Folks, you know I love an underdog story, but I just don't see a line for a win condition for Ultimate Rival. Besides just be insanely good. There it is. Voids clears it out. Wrecking Crew. Wrecking Crew is your Season 2 OCL champions. Congratulations to Wrecking Crew. Well played to Proteus. That was a tight game all the way through. Everybody at home, thank you guys so much for watching. OCL, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate every single one of you guys, and thank you guys for following me through this. This has been an absolute pleasure to watch and a pleasure to cast and bring to you guys. Well done to all the teams involved. Wrecking Crew, you guys will be winning your own set of personalized Boke stocks for the entire team. Proteus, well played. You will get your second place prize. Much thanks to Boke VR and much thanks to iStocks for sponsoring the OCL. We will see you guys in the next one. It has been a fantastic time. I've been Firesoul and you've been awesome. Good night.